In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, Master of the day of requital. Today we beseech for help to guide us on the right path, on the path that you bestow favors, not those you lead astray. We ask for protection from the evil shaitan as he attacks from every angle. My name is Eric Farad Muhammad. This is a portion of the Mahdi tapes. This is the road to Jannah. First of all, I want to express what Jannah is. Jannah is an Arabic name for paradise, the garden. Supposedly, as you read and understand Islamic texts, the paradise or the garden is the final abode of the righteous. But also the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Hawa dwelt, is called Jannah. Now, I want to talk about these two different aspects. You have the Garden of Eden, and then you have paradise of the 7 levels of heaven that was taught by the principles of Prophet Muhammad. Now, the Nation of Islam Muslims were taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that there was no life after death. Once you're dead, you're dead. But that's not what Prophet Muhammad taught. So the Quran has a variance difference. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a good student of Master Farad Muhammad. And Master Farad taught Elijah that there was no life after death. But he said there's a hereafter. The hereafter would be the point in time after the death of the devil. Now, when you refer to the Nation of Islam text, like who is the devil, the text quite clearly states who the devil is and what their purpose is. And they were supposed to rule for 6,000 years. And at that point, Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught that the messengers of death would come to America and begin the destruction of America. So, also Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated that there would be one named 7 that would lead the believers, back to the hereafter, to the new land, which we refer to as Jannah. Now, that's one portion of it, the physical aspect of the Garden of Eden. The next portion that we need to really look at is the 7 levels of heaven that was taught by Prophet Muhammad. Now, Honorable Elijah Muhammad began teaching in 1931, 32, or, after the disappearance of Master Farad Muhammad, 1934, where he really stepped up. And over the years, Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he would receive letters from Master Farad Muhammad. And there's a history, told by Wafdeen Muhammad that Master Farad Muhammad reappeared under the name of Muhammad Abdullah. Now, when Wafdeen left the nation, it was Muhammad Abdullah that instructed him that he should go back to his father, because he had such a vast knowledge of Islam. Now, Wafdeen had such a vast knowledge of Islam because Master Farad Muhammad wrote his name on the wall for Elijah Muhammad and instructed him to make sure he had a vast knowledge of Islam and he was going to be a great helper to his father. Now, Muhammad Abdullah, peculiar gentleman, was named the Imam of the Oakland mosque under Wharf Dean when all the transitions started to take place with the Nation of Islam. Now, Muhammad Abdullah never admitted that he was Master Farad Muhammad. He never did, but he never really denied it. Now, they're saying that there's cases where they say that he absolutely denied it. Muhammad Abdullah was 5'7", with connections all over the world. And he was the tutor of Wharf Dean. He was a scholar, and he also lived with Honorable Elijah Muhammad in Chicago. This is verifiable. You can ask some of the elders about this. Now, Muhammad Abdullah was a strict Orthodox Muslim, and he taught Orthodox Islam, and he prayed 5 times a day. He led prayer, and he taught specifically about the Quran, but he never spoke badly about Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, this is the ironic thing. When you study the hadiths of Prophet Muhammad, he states that the Mahdi father's name would be the same as his father's name. What was his father's name? Muhammad Abdullah. That was Prophet Muhammad's father's name, was Muhammad Abdullah. And he being Prophet Muhammad, stated that the Mahdi would come at the age of 40 years old. And he said some other things. Now, some of these hadiths they say that they are real, and some of them they say are not. The Islamic scholars. Now, as a historian, one that loves history, the Arab Muslims, when Prophet Muhammad passed away, there was a huge infight. It wasn't an infight, I first say, but Abu Bakr and some of the rest of the Muslims went to consort on who should be the next leader, while Ali was washing the body of the Prophet for getting him ready for burial. And a lot of chaos ensued after that. Now, the Muslims did get it together, and they had vast libraries of multitudes of knowledge. Astronomy, astrology, mathematics, science, it was a wealth of knowledge. So, when we look at this connection between Muhammad Abdullah, Master Farad, and Prophet Muhammad, and Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, I heard a tape by Dr. Wesley Muhammad stating that emphatically that Master Farad Muhammad was not Muhammad Abdullah. He said emphatically. And, I've been attacking this brother lately because he's involved himself in things he has no knowledge of. None whatsoever. And he's talking reckless and with confidence, a fake sense of confidence. But that's what you get from your teacher. See, my teacher, Master Farad Muhammad, a.k.a. Muhammad Abdullah, and we got to start comparing and contrasting the differences in action. Now, I can't compare to the eloquent speaking of one such as Wesley Muhammad or, some of these great ministers, Nuri Muhammad and Minister Louis Farrakhan. Very eloquent speakers. And Ava, I listened to Sister Ava's speech today. Very eloquent, well-spoken. Very proud of them, too, for mastering, English language in such a way. Very proud of them for that. Yet, the situation is in hand is we are now at that road to Jannah. And I've been listening and paying attention to some of these ministers and definitely what Minister Farrakhan has to state, and it's quite disturbing. Now, when I came out with this tape series, the Mahdi tapes, that was April of 2019. I put out my truths, and I also put out some challenges as far as the revelations of where the world was headed, right? Prophecies, revelations, but I'm not a prophet or a messenger. Never have I claimed to be such. And I expected vindication. That these things did not happen. Now, when somebody says, I'm a minister of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I speak truth, and they say they represent the truth, and they're going to stop the enemy, and I say, right on, brother, right on. That's awesome. Yet, when I go out and do my work, and you say, you know me not, you see, because my work is a more physical work. I'm not a minister, you see. And you say, well, if you're, as you claim, trained by Master Farad Muhammad, what is your works? Well, we don't go out beating our chests on the things we do, but I have been more open to discuss these things because of the time and the place. The place that we're headed is the road to Jannah. Jannah. Now, I have to teach the believers, and I don't want to necessarily teach you, but it's my duty to teach you Islam because my father, you see, instructed me to learn, Nation of Islam text, to study supreme wisdom, read all of Honorable Elijah Muhammad's books. Then I studied under Farrakhan. He made me research the Black Panthers. He made me study various things, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, then not to say, okay, this is your religion. He says, I want answers. I want you to give me your truths. You understand? So I did these things, and I did them quietly. And when I became 19 years old, I was called to go to California, Sacramento, and told to report to Wharf Dean's masjid. And I'm going to tell you, those brothers wanted me to denounce Master Farad. They tried their best to get me off the nation thing. And I said, I need to study more, but I will never, ever in your life or my life denounce Master Farad Muhammad. I never explained the reasoning because I did not trust people, and I knew that what the end result would be. Right? And so I kept quiet on those things. Now, after studying Nation of Islam text, studying like the 5%er, and then start getting into Orthodox Islam, it could become very confusing. And I used to cry to my father. I used to say, I don't know why you won't just give me the answers, because I don't get it. It says, well, that's the point. If you don't get it, then you must keep studying and asking questions until you do. So I then had to study Shiite Islam, and that even made me more confused. Then got into the Sufi text. Yet things started to become more clear over time. Now, my occult experiences tie right into Islam, because when I tell you that Master Farad Muhammad is the greatest individual that's ever walked this earth, bar none, he taught me how to change reality. You understand? at a young age, you see, and how to fight. Right? Some of you fight with guns, you fight with your fists. I've fought with my fists. I've been involved in some gunplay situations in my youth and earlier ages, early days, but it's not how I fight. The mind is a powerful, powerful weapon, as I stated in some of the earlier texts, but the mind of God is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. What is space? I don't know what it is to you or the scientists of America or the scientists of Europe, but I will tell you what space is to me. We are living in the mind of God. We are thoughts of God. Every person or individual that's lived was given life through the energy of Allah. So, in saying that, what can be done and what can't be done, there is no can't. There's only can'ts. So, when we refer to Jannah, we're talking about two different aspects. One is the physical Garden of Eden that is here on earth, and the secondary aspect is the 7 levels of heaven, and that's after death. Now, Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught that there was no life after death. Once you're dead, you're dead. Now, is this true compared to what the Prophet Muhammad teaches? But only Allah knows the truth, and I'm going to give you the truth today. Once you're dead until the day of judgment. The day of judgment is so far away, it's like you were never, ever going to be born again. But when the day of judgment comes, it will be like you were only asleep for a few days or a few weeks. This is true. But all in life throughout the universes will have ceased to exist at this point, and everything returns back to Allah. He takes everything and folds it back in, and everything must die but Allah, and that will be everything and everyone, including the angels. You see. Now, is that the end? No, at that point, it is the point of Jannah. Now, Muslims, Orthodox, Sunni, Shiite, whatever, Ahmadiyyan, whoever your root belief system is, you can take that or leave it. Now, I'm not here to tell you I'm some fancy prophet, because I'm not, or a messenger, because I'm not. I'm a servant. I serve my master. When he says go, I go. When he says fight, I fight. When he says kill, I kill. When he says bless something or someone, that's what I must do. This is mandatory. You understand? So, this Nation of Islam situation, I'm very upset with a lot of the believers. I'm very upset with Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm going to tell you why. The people believe so much in this man, Minister Farrakhan. They believe in him. And nothing can shake their faith in him. I've tested him. And I say, what are you grading this man based upon? Are you grading him on action, or are you just grading him on because that's all you got? Well, when you pull back the layers of what they claim is true and look at what's actual facts, it's very concerning. I put out multitudes of tapes, and I asked the believers, I said, listen, All I've been trying to question the minister about is things that I've been instructed to question him about. That's A, why are you involved in Scientology or clearing? Who gave you the authority to do so? Who told you you were a Messiah? Did Elijah tell you a Messiah? Did Elijah give you any instructions that you were ever meant to be a Messiah? Or was that Brother Jabril? And under whose instructions did Brother Jabril get that from? That's all I've been trying to ask him. I wanted to talk to him about Mustafa and his drug dealing ways and using FOI for nefarious activities. And, why have you not mobilized the soldiers to clean up the streets? Because that's a good starting point, and that would be a great drive to bring more people in. These federal contracts. Now, let me talk to you about these federal contracts, these prison contracts that the nation has, the nation ministries to go into the prisons and reform the brothers. That sounds wonderful. Wonderful. Now, you used to have federal contracts to protect the projects, did we not? Yes, you did. Federal money, government. Hard to criticize your employer openly. And if you're independent, what are you taking money from your enemy from? Now, Gaddafi gave you money, and what did you give him in return? You backed the man that ended up killing him. That's true. You then were upset about it, but your action had a reaction. We are concerned, when I say we, the gods, the major and the minor scientists are concerned with your lack of accountability, your lack of using lies and saying that they're true. You say, I've never killed them. There's no blood on my hands. I'm an honorable man. Never cheated on my wife. I'm an honorable man. Things you say. Seems like your followers are more fearful of retribution or attacks than truth. I've been telling you for such a long time, sir, that, you can't fool me. I was at the Million Man March and made a lot of promises. If you don't fulfill not one of the promises you made, does that not make you a liar? And if you're saying, well, what promise did you make? We could go back and pull the Million Man March speech. You made a lot of promises. You collected a lot of money. A lot of money. This thing with Ron L. Hubbard, you called him honorable. How do you think the Farads feel about that? Oh, you said you believe Master Farad had some dealing with him at some point. What is the penalty for lying on the Farads? Don't you think if you lie on the Farad, there should be a penalty? So how do we prove that, or disprove? Well, who does the Farads have to prove anything to? And I hear these brothers say, Farad. I mean, how are you going to tell the Farads what their name is? The Farads are unique beings, a family, a secret society in a sense, because we're not going to reveal ourselves until the time. And when you spoke about the vineyard, the vineyard, at the 4th of July speech, we were appalled. We were shocked because Eric Farad Muhammad, who is myself, I spoke about this briefly about 3 or 4 years ago. And we are shocked that the things that Eric Farad Muhammad has done for the people to show and prove who he is has been dismissed because Farrakhan tells him to dismiss it. But you can never dismiss it based upon it not being actual fact. I asked every last one of them, sit down with me or let's get on a forum and debate me on what's true, what's not true, what I can prove and what I cannot prove. They have refused on every angle. But 10, 10, 15, I was there. Million Man March, I was there. Savior's Day, I was there. Multiple dudes of Savior's Days, I was there. Why doesn't Minister Farrakhan talk about the time at UIC Pavilion in my youth where he said, I was sitting right up in these stands when Honorable Elijah Muhammad pointed to me? Where did he point to? Who did he point at? Believers? Who has the tape? UIC Pavilion, Savior's Day. I don't know how many years ago. I don't keep up with the details. And who got up and walked out? Who did that? Who can vouch or say that did or did not happen? Well, he pointed at me, and I didn't want any parts of it, and I got up and walked out. What about, when the minister stated he was the Messiah? Do you understand Islamic, the teachings of Prophet Muhammad? Prophet Muhammad stated that there's one that's going to test us all, and he's going to be called the lying Messiah, the Dajjal. And he will be a great minister, teacher for over 40 years, and then one day he's going to exalt himself as God. But he is the lying Messiah. Beware of the lying Messiah. And Prophet Muhammad stated, if I'm not around to defend you against him, one of my family members will stand up and step up and fight him to the death. And the lying Messiah will convince everybody that he's leading them to heaven, but everyone that follows him will be headed to hell. The Mahdi would be, everybody be convinced he's going to hell, but everyone that follows him would be headed to heaven. The Dajjal would have all the followers, and the Mahdi would have very few. This is Islamic prophecy now. And thank Allah for allowing me to study Islam. It's been the greatest gift that a father could give. The greatest. So, once again, the road to Jannah is for you to get the answers of that you need to your solutions, which is, where do we come from? How did we get here? Is there heavens, or what's out there in space? What's real? What's tangible? Are we more advanced or are we inferior? Master Farad Muhammad only taught a portion to you. For Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated that you cannot give baby steak. You must give them milk. And I would love to teach you more, but I'm very hesitant because you haven't even grasped what Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught you. You can't even cause a tornado. Now you say, well, who can? Well, the Farads can. With ease. A baby Farad can cause a tornado. I assure you. And that's what this is all about with the back and forth with Eric Farad Muhammad is that they didn't control my mind state. So, but they know I have the power of the frauds, and so they want my children so that they can manipulate them, their minds. But it would never work because they'll be able to see things that the deaf, dumb, and blind could never see. Now, the fall of America. We're in the middle. When I say the middle, we're in the middle of the fall. It'll be complete in about 1.5 to 2 years. We'll be completely through. And unfortunately, millions of people are going to die here in America. Now, there's an opportunity for people to heed warnings and pick up their things and head to safety. I'm going to have to start eliminating the liars because they're jeopardizing the righteous, the good Muslims, the good Christians, the good God-fearing people who really just want to do right, and they want to keep going, they want to survive, and they want to continue on with life. Yet there are individuals that are interfering with this, right? Now you could say, well, Eric, you could be one of those individuals. True, I could be, yet I put my work forth, and they can't defeat it. They can't defend it. It's beyond insane at this point because there's so much information of abnormal behavior on my part, abnormal results. Why? Wait a minute. Why didn't they do this to Eric, or why didn't they do that? And the big thing about the nation is like, oh, Eric's insane or whatever. Where's the documentation? Where? If somebody's insane, they could be on Social Security. They're gonna be. You could pull up that from the hospital. There is none. They're lying. Why would they lie on me? Why would they lie? Now, you guys listen to my tapes. My tapes done all right. I've done like 6,000-7,000 views of me just speaking to a phone, and I talk about some abnormal things. But I've also been a CEO as a felon of a multi-million-dollar company. That's abnormal. I've ran the streets of Chicago, had hip hop labels, which is verifiable. That's abnormal. I'd spend my summers on boats, with killers and so on and so forth, and models, and that's not normal. Nothing about my life is normal. I popped up in Detroit going door to door in the bottom, and not only did I go door to door selling, because a lot of people door to door selling sold in their life, I built a multi-million-dollar industry in the bottom of Detroit. In the bottom of Detroit. And I was like, oh God, I'm doing too much like my father. And people are going to recognize. And people did recognize, wait a minute. Are you who I think you are? And I would gather my children up and the mother, because, Kalila is Muslim. Her family comes from the nation. The Munir family come from the nation. They just went to the Orthodox route. When Wafdeen left, they left. Or when Wafdeen changed the name, everybody had no choice but to go with that procedure. Now, going back into the Islamic world, you're going to have to know Orthodox Islam. But there's a difference between the teachings that are for you and for them. The difference is that you're going to rule. You're the ruling body. You're the ruling nation now. If you accept that, you're going to rule over the world. You're going to rule over the universe. That's what you're going to do. That's what God has promised you. But if there's a catch to that, the bottom rail will be put on top. So a lot of black men assume it's going to be the black man put on top. unfortunately, that's not true. The black woman is about to be put on top because we're going back to a monarchy, and a monarchy government would be means that from father to son, uh, the title will be handed down of king of kingdoms. And you said, well, that's not how is that putting the woman first? Yes, because mothers are queens, and the mother queen always has the most influence over her children. You see, and she will influence politics and everything about everyday life. Trust me, the women will dominate um, the the business world or the social world of how we interact. Trust me on this. So you must understand that the world is going to be divided up into pieces. Getting new lands and new leadership, all run by Israelites. Who are Israelites? Well, you are Israelite. She's an Israelite. I'm an Israelite. Okay? And the road to Jannah is a road to a special place where when you're a child, you think about Disneyland, or you think about, I want to go to this wonderful Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Well, how about God shows you what He has created for you that's already prepared here on earth for the believers? Because we had a hard, hard road to get here. And I've asked these brothers over the years, not to, because I could want to control the nation or control them. I asked them, if you can find fault in what I'm stating, then bring forth it. But, oh, he's crazy, we're not going to talk to him. No, I'm the most intelligent of you. I've had the most success independently than any of you. I've gotten in and out of more trouble than you guys could ever imagine. That's who I am. And you know it when I get angry with one of you, and because you're talking crazy on this book, or you're talking crazy out in these streets, and I get angry. What happens? The road to Jannah, there's going to be angels that are positioned there, and if you don't answer their questions correctly, you cannot move forward. So, I would advise you to reevaluate your game plans on who you're riding with, or because you don't have to ride with. I didn't ask you to ride with me. I didn't ask you to do anything but respect Allah and be truthful when speaking on Islam. Now, I'm very angry at this brother Wesley Muhammad because he's a loyalist to Farrakhan to a fault. He's loyal enough to lie on the Quran. Yesterday, this gentleman spoke about prophecy and spoke about Jesus being persecuted. And I am, as a Muslim, was enraged saying, where in the Quran does it say Jesus was persecuted? You lying dog. See, Wesley, my father came to me in a vision. He sent me visions yesterday, intense visions, as I was trying to prepare for this tape, prepare to give you 100% iron-fisted truth. And he said, no worries. For the MGT, they have begun praying to me about you. About me? What about me? I don't mess with them women. I ain't those sisters. I try to stay as far away from sisters as I possibly can. Father, I don't want no beef with them. They attack me, they threaten our children, and so on and so forth. And Father says yes, but they've been misled. And I have mercy for the woman, especially the woman that's doing her best to do right and some wicked man has misled her. Oh God, here we go. Right? So we're speaking about third eye things. We're speaking about spiritual things now. We're speaking about my father giving me visions, just like how Joseph had visions, just like how some of the great prophets had visions. I am not a prophet or a messenger. I want to be clear on that. But I am prophetic. And I do deliver messages, and I also deliver actions. So this whole situation with Farrakhan stating, well, let's listen here, you know, I'm the Messiah and they're going to persecute me. He's been crying this. Who's going to persecute you, sir? This is what I would like to know. I came to ask you some questions in the year of 2013, November 19th. I remember the exact date. And you've been ducking and dodging me ever since that point. Haven't taken a meeting with me, you nor Ishmael. Now, Sultan did take a meeting with me, but well, that didn't weigh well with me or them. And I'm very upset at your behavior to claim these things and then run from the angels. Run from the angels, I said. And your soldiers are confused because they say, why is this man, this fraud, calling the Messiah out? Why is this fraud not been handled? The sisters were confused. Why is this fraud insulting FY like they're children and they've done nothing over the years? The sisters have asked me, what in the heck is going on here? I said, you ask them. Yeah. When did I draw blood? I killed the minister from Temple Number 7. COVID did, but that's a Nation of Islam operation. You say, what? Nation of Islam operation? What's now you're really going to left field, Eric. Well, exactly, because it's been 7 years of lies and deception, and we had our own game plan. The frauds had our own game plan on how we were going to end this, and Farrakhan's been interfering and calling himself a messiah, like he's a god amongst God, besides God, and he has his own agenda. So to stop that, Wesley, you are a top disciple of Farrakhan. Number one disciple besides you and Ishmael, y'all. You two. So I'm going to start with you two. I'm going to give you an opportunity to address the issues that I have with Farrakhan. I'll give you a couple days to do so. Issue number one is the drug dealing of the Nation of Islam in the 80s and the 90s. I'm talking about cocaine. The secondary thing is the Scientology situation for clearing. We want to talk about the Scientologists' connections to the CIA and the FBI. And we also want to talk about the third thing is the Nation of Islam's connections to the federal government and explain us just how that works with the federal prison contracts. Now you say, well, it's a good thing we're teaching Islam in the federal prisons, and I say there's no way they'll allow that unless it's their version. Because Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated in 1974 his messengers were coming, messengers of death, you understand. They're going to teach and preach and show and prove death. Because Elijah already did all the talking. He already did all the talking. Excuse me. And I've been doing a lot of talking. And when I Allah came to me yesterday and said, well, the sisters have come, are going to start coming around because they, coming around to him, not me per se, but to Allah. They already have been praying to him because of some of the actions I've taken against the nation, and they become fearful. They become fearful, and they've seen the FY punk out every time I come around. And Allah said, the MGT, they're great. They're great sisters, and they're going to figure this thing out, and they're going to act. And when they act, they're going to take every traitor down because they're not losing their children because of treacherous, lying, deceiving devils. I was so disappointed because I saw it like HD. And when I say that's just an urban term for I saw it, the picture clear. Like, oh my God, this is absolutely true. Because when these women find out they've been betrayed and they put their children in the hands of the devil, they are going to be out for blood. And Allah is encouraging this, and this is why he's going to put them on the top rail. And he told me once this happened, I have to not only listen and take into consideration what they want. Is pretty much they got the ball. They're going to have the children. They're going to train them up. Oh, it's like, and I'm not upset about it. It's just, you know how women, no problem. Women are beautiful, smart, intelligent, beings. So they're gonna stop a lot of nonsense. They're gonna shut men right down on a lot of nonsense. That's probably most likely what we need, and I have no problem with that. It's just I don't want to give them all the leverage. Say we had to kill the traitors, we had to hold things down. I would never ever hear the end of it. That's my take on it. So I am all for MGT, getting on top of what's really going on, getting on the science of it. And women, one thing about women, I'm going to tell you this from my own experience as being a playboy or whatever you want to call it. It was terrible. I wish I never did any of it, but I got to learn a lot. Is that women, when they find out you're a loser, they're going to drop you faster than they'll drop you faster than a ton of bricks, right? They'll drop you so fast. And when they find out you're a winner, oh, they're going to do what they have to do to get your attention. You understand? That is just the bottom line. You know what, man? You can fool them for a little while, and the more you fool them, the minute they find out you're not real, that you're not really about what you spoke about, oh man, you're finished. If the enemy doesn't kill you, they're gonna kill you, or they're gonna call your enemy and tell them, "Come get him, come get this piece of crap out of my face." You'll understand. And I'm not going to want to lie to you. I've always had powerful women over me. I was raised by them, and this is why I was a little concerned, is because I've seen. You think people think I'm ruthless. uh, the women that were in my life, my mother, my grandmother, they'll have your head cut off for nothing, man. And smile and I've just been, transparent with you. And I know, who's deadly and who can be deadly in a sense. And I want to see you make it. And I want to see as many of my FOI brothers make it. I want to see as many righteous people get up out of this situation as you possibly can. Now, I gave you the Mahdi tape series where I put my reputation on the line. I said the spoils of war, economic gains, and I said you need to profit from the fall of America. You need to profit from the fall of the stock market. You need to profit from the fall of your enemy. And they were looking around like, "What are you talking about? It's beautiful outside. There's no issues. What are you talking about?" You see what I'm talking about now, brother? See, I'm special in the sense that sometimes I speak about something and it becomes relative 3 years later. Like, whoa. Also, the Mahdi tapes, I spoke about the Jew. I spoke about that last year after Minister Farrakhan made some more anti-Semitic remarks. It was last year. I was like, what kind of strategy are you using? You're going to get people hurt. You're going to get people destroyed. If you don't own your own, then you have no business criticizing the people that do, because you didn't take it upon yourself to go out and own your own. The road to Jannah. The spiritual road is being a good Muslim, being truthful. Let me tell you what I have another problem with is the lack of truth. If you can't be truthful, get out of Islam. If you can't speak truth, get out of Islam. You're not Muslim because you're Arab. You're not Muslim because you're black. You're not Muslim because you're yellow. You're not Muslim because you're white. You're Muslim. You choose to be Muslim because you want to live in truth. My viewpoints have, over time, I've seen so many devils. White devils, yellow devils, brown devils. I've seen so many devils that color has very little to do with it. Now, when I say white America, I'm going to say this to you, or Europeans, or the Caucasian people. If you have no soul, if you have no compassion, if you have no reasoning between right and wrong, what are you? And your history, your track record of your everyday events, how you became to be who you are, is all recorded. Things that you probably don't even know about your forefathers, I assure you, the angels have recorded it. So when God goes to judge a nation, he is basing it upon not just one generation or two generations. It's the totality of the generations from start to when he decides it's finished. You want to survive what's happening, you got 1 year, 6 months to get the hell up out of here. And that still doesn't guarantee you long-term survival. But I will give you that mercy. The road to Jannah lies with the Quran, and on the spiritual tip, on the spiritual journey, lies with your prayer 5 times a day, lies with you taking care of the poor and the needy and cleaning up your neighborhoods or cleaning up the environment around you. Walking and talking in truth. TRUTH. The truth. Learn it, live by it, die by it. The road to the physical Jannah. That's a blessing on top of a blessing. How many will make it? Only Allah knows. Yeah. You have to stand up against the liar. You have to stand up against the mischief maker. And if the facts actually don't weigh, then the evidence, it's called the law of evidence. The law of evidence is accurate thinking. If I say I'm going to go outside and dig a hole, if I go outside and dig a hole, a tree is going to grow. And a tree doesn't grow out that hole, then that wasn't accurate thinking, and I didn't know what the heck I was talking about. Too many times this minister, Farrakhan, has had these great ideas of what he was going to do and what he was going to deliver, and has not delivered on anything. When has the nation given anything to the people? Anything. Mm. Mm. Where's the businesses at, sir? Only person that is showing some real movement is Nuri. And I noticed you handcuffed these brothers left and right. And there's so much talk about vaccines and don't take this and that. You sound like Scientologists to me. Do you not know I did business with those folks in 2011? When I got out, they were all over me. Eric this, Eric that. Do you know they paid me over $1 million? And I thought it was business, but I should have known better. But do you know that they also tried to recruit me, and their pitch point, their talking point was, "You're in the nation, aren't you have some dealings with the nations?" That was the first thing they screwed up because I didn't talk about those type of things to anyone. And they, when I say recruiting, limos, 5-star hotels, the works. All the benefits of Scientology and with Ron L. Hubbard developed. Oh my God. And the minute I said no was the minute that I went from being the most brilliant person or one of the most brilliant minds to being crazy. Now, I gotta start. First of all, I have to stop talking and I'm gonna have to start doing. I'm sorry, gentlemen, I'm gonna have to start executing you folks. That's right, I said. And the reason for this is cause and effect. I start executing some of you top people that are lying. The masses will see this. They'll know where it's coming from, and they will turn in the direction that they need to go. Wesley Muhammad, you want to defend Minister Farrakhan. I understand that. And I must defend Master Farad Muhammad and Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So please understand I have no choice. This is not personal. This is business at this point. Ishmael Muhammad, please understand that I must defend the Honorable Elijah Muhammad work, and I must defend Master Farad Muhammad's work. This is business, nothing personal. You two up first. As I speak it, so shall it be. Tell another lie on Master Farad Muhammad. Tell another lie on Elijah Muhammad. And I assure you, the messengers of death, I assure you, the angels of Allah will seek you out and destroy you. And any other ones of you that want to lie on Master Farad, you want to lie on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's work, they will be next. Your punks didn't do anything to that kid. What that young pharaoh? He dragged Honorable Elijah through the mud. And I didn't watch his work like that because it wasn't relevant to my mission. But when I did hear it, I stopped it instantaneously. And if he continues, he will be dealt with instantaneously. Now, take this as law or take me as a fool and judge me by my work for the last time, my last warning, and line up for the road to Jannah. Or you're going to line up for the road to hellfire. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. All praise is due to Allah. I'm out.